going to say something really lame like chitter chatter. Let's get at her. This is Chatterfang, the Squirrel General. So this is my squirrel deck I just built. Why are squirrels so expensive? And these cards that are in here, a lot of them are old cards that have never seen reprints. You'll see I have a couple of proxies in here. I don't know how you feel about proxies, but I like to use them from time to time in instances where I don't want to buy 5 or 6 of a card that costs a bunch of money. And sometimes it's just if I'm not sure about the card, or I just don't know that I want to spend that kind of money on one single card at that time. So in the Chatterfang deck, if you're not familiar with Squirrel General, it's a legendary Squirrel Warrior. He's a 3/3 with Forest Walk. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens, you create those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Pay a black, sacrifice X squirrel tokens. Target creature gets +X, -X until the end of turn. So this is a 3-cost commander, 2 and a green, and it also has stapled to it a really cool effect with token generation. So I built this deck around the theme of wanting to create as many tokens as possible. And I'll show you at the end of the video the tokens because I have put together a side of tokens. Like that's basically my sideboard is just all tokens that I can potentially generate with this particular deck. First creature right out of the gate is the Croson Beast, which the name would surprise you, is a squirrel beast with threshold. It's a 4-cost for a 1/1, but if you have 7 cards or more in your graveyard, it is a 7. It's an 8/8. Sorry, so it can be kind of a bit of a crazy creature on the battlefield. We have the Deep Forest Hermit. He's an elf druid. He or she, it could be I think it's a she. Sorry. Vanishing 3. So it enters the battlefield with 3 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, you remove a time counter from it. When the last one is removed, you sacrifice it. When the Hermit enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens, and then squirrels you control get +1/+1. Then we have the Squirrel Mob. So it gets 1/1 for each other squirrel in play. We have the Ravenous Squirrel for a green or a black. You can play 1/1 squirrel creature. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact or a creature, you put a 1/1 counter on the Ravenous Squirrel. You can pay 1 colorless, 1 green, 1 black to sacrifice an artifact or creature, gain 1 life, and draw a card. So you have a sack outlet already on a 1-drop. Then we have the really cute, this is from a Secret Lair. I didn't buy the Secret Lair, I just bought the card. This is the Squirrel Wrangler. So you can sacrifice a land, create 2 green squirrel creature tokens, or you can sacrifice a land and creatures get +1/+1 till the end of turn, all squirrels. This is my biggest complaint about, and actually the biggest deterrent to me buying these Secret Lairs is the foil treatment. I mean, this card is double sleeved, and it is still just bending on its own. And Wizards has known about this problem for a long time, so I don't know why it hasn't been solved. Drake Keeper, Elf Druid. When Drake Keeper enters the battlefield, create 2 green squirrel creature tokens. 3 and a black. Squirrels you control get +1/+0, and they gain menace until the end of turn. The Underworld Hermit is a human peasant. When it enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens equal to your devotion to black. Toski, of course, Bearer of Secrets, 4-drop legendary creatures. Squirrel cannot be countered. It's indestructible. It attacks each combat if able. Whenever a creature you control does combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Nut Collector, Druid. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a 1/1 squirrel creature token into play. And Threshold. So again, if you have more than 7 cards in your graveyard, all squirrels get +2/+2. We have the Squirrel Sovereign, the Squirrel Noble. Other squirrels you control get +1/+1. This is where the deck gets kind of fun. So I have the Academy Manufacturer. So it's an assembly worker, artifact creature. If you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead you create 1 of each. So if I'm creating a food token, I'm going to create a clue food and treasure token, and that pairs very nicely with Chatterfang. So I will also be creating squirrel creature tokens at the same time. Creekwood Leech. Other black creatures you control get +1/+1. Other green creatures you control get +1/+1. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a 1/1 black and green worm creature token onto the battlefield, which again will generate a squirrel. Actually, 2 squirrels, sorry. Brood Monitor. Devoid. When it enters the battlefield, you create 3 colorless Eldrazi Scion tokens, and they have sacrifice to add 1 to your mana pool. Again, this will also create squirrels. Nested Shambler. When it dies, create X tapped green squirrel creature tokens, where X is its power, and its power is currently a 1/1. But again, that will trigger the Squirrel General. Tireless Provisioner. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you create a food token or a treasure token. You get to choose. And again, it pairs nicely with the commander. At the beginning of, this is the Verdant Force. It's an elemental. It's a 7/7. And at the beginning of each upkeep, so each player's turn, you put a 1/1 sapling creature token into play under your control. So not only will you get saplings, you're also going to generate squirrels. Spore Mound. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you put a green sapling creature token onto the battlefield. Feasting Troll King. Vigilance and Trample. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, create 3 food tokens. So again, if you have the proper things out in play, that can get pretty crazy. Sacrifice 3 food tokens. Return the Feasting Troll King from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate this ability only during your turn. It's a 7/6 troll. And we have the Glimmer Baron. This guy is in here. It's an oof, or however we say it. Sacrifice a token. Glimmer Baron gets +2/+2 till the end of turn. So it's a little tiny, cute little thing in a bee costume that might just kill you. So watch out. Mycoloth, the fungus. It's got Devour 2. As it comes into play, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. It comes into play with twice that many 1/1 counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, you put a 1/1 green sapling creature token into play for each 1/1 counter on this creature. So another sacrifice outlet that will then generate a bunch of additional tokens. Reclamation Sage. I'm not going to lie, it's in here just so I can say get wrecked. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. Here for the memes, folks. Here for the memes. Deranged Hermit. Echo. So during your next upkeep, after it comes into play, you have to pay its casting cost or sacrifice it. When the Deranged Hermit comes into play, put 4 squirrel tokens into play. Treat those tokens as 1/1 green creatures, and all squirrels get +1/+1. The Ruthless Knave is an orc pirate. Sacrifice creature, create 2 colorless treasure artifact tokens, and sacrifice 3 treasures to draw a card. The Nightblade, Nadler's Nightblade. Whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We have several sacrificial outlets in the deck to make tokens leave, so that's going to likely happen. Bone Shards. Add an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature, or discard a card to destroy target creature or planeswalker for 1 black. And we all know that planeswalkers can be a problem in a game sometimes. And the biggest problem is that not enough players are using, have interaction to destroy planeswalkers. So often that planeswalker sticks around for a lot longer than it should. Crack Open. It's a sorcery. Destroy an artifact or enchantment and create a treasure token. I have the Beacon of Creation in here. Put a 1/1 green insect creature token into play for each forest you control, and then shuffle it into your library. So that's a good card to have in this deck. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped. Shuffle your library. Gotta love those landfall triggers. Abundant Harvest. For a single green, you can choose land or non-land. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card of the chosen kind. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Gaze of Granite. Destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost X or less. Overrun. Creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until the end of turn. Journey of Discovery. You can search your library for the 2 basic land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand. Shuffle your library. You may play up to 2 additional lands on this turn, and for 3, you can entwine it. So you can do both. Seek the Horizon. Search for up to 3 basic land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand. Shuffle your library. Jarad's Order. Search your library for 2 creature cards, reveal them, put them into your hand. 1 in your hand and 1 in the graveyard. Shuffle your library. Acorn Harvest. Put 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens into play. Has flashback. Pay 1 in the green to pay 3 life. Harmonize. Draw 3 cards. Life from the Loam. Return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to your hand. It also has Dredge. Bestial Menace can be absolutely insane with the Squirrel General out in play, or any of the other cards that will take advantage of you creating tokens to make multiple tokens. Put a 1/1 green snake creature token into play. Put a 2/2 green wolf creature token into play. Put a 3/3 green elephant creature token onto the battlefield. So instead of just that, you're getting that plus a bunch of squirrels. Beast Within. Destroy a target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. Verdant Command. You get to choose 2. Target player creates 2 tapped 1/1 squirrel creature tokens, or counter target loyalty ability of a planeswalker. Exile target card from a graveyard. Target player gains 3 life. All really decent abilities. Heroic Intervention. So you're about to get board wiped. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until the end of the turn. Squirrel Sanctuary. When Squirrel Sanctuary enters the battlefield, create a green squirrel creature token. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you can pay 1. If you do, you return the Squirrel Sanctuary to its owner's hand. Whenever a creature you control dies, you gain 1 life and draw a card. Squirrel Nest. Enchant land. The land has tapped to put a 1/1 green squirrel creature token onto the battlefield. We have the Snake Pit, which is a really old and weird enchantment. Whenever an opponent plays a blue or black spell, you may put a 1/1 green snake creature token into play. And you're playing against 3 other players. The odds are pretty great that one of those colors is going to be represented. Grave Pact is such a punishing card. Such a good enchantment. Whenever a creature you control is put into a graveyard from play, each other player sacrifices a creature. Now, it doesn't say it has to be a non-token creature. So if your tokens leave play, they're sacrificing creatures. Druid's Call. Whenever enchanted creature is dealt damage, its controller puts that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens into play. We have the sitting on the table board wipe, the Pernicious Deed. Pay X, sacrifice the Pernicious Deed. Destroy each artifact creature and enchantment with converted mana cost X or less. Death Reap Ritual. It's an enchantment with Morbid. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, you can draw a card. Eyes of the Wizened, or Wizened, I'm not sure how to say that. Travel enchantment and elemental. Whenever an opponent plays a blue spell during your turn, you may put a 4/4 elemental creature token into play. I'm playing a lot of mean cards. There's a chance I'm going to see some blue spells on my turn. The Phyrexian Arena. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card, you lose 1 life. Black Market. Whenever a creature dies, so it's not necessarily yours. Whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter on Black Market. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add black to your mana pool for each charge counter on Black Market. This card can get pretty crazy. Ooze Garden. Sacrifice a non-ooze creature. Put an XX green ooze creature token into play where X is the sacrifice's creature's power. Play this ability anytime you can play a sorcery. Quest for Renewal. Whenever a creature you control becomes tapped, you may put a quest counter on the quest removal. As long as you have 4 or more quest counters on the quest for renewal, untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step. Yeah, that seems like a good thing to do. This is my first proxy. This is just because doubling season is ridiculously expensive, and they don't have any art with squirrels on it. So what's up with that? So doubling season for 4 and a green. Whenever you create a token, you create 2 times that many tokens. Second harvest, for each token, you make a copy of that token. Pretty straightforward. And again, a really expensive card that doesn't have a squirrel on it. Like, come on. Planeswalkers. I'm running Garrick the Wild Speaker because I can untap lands with them. And I can also put into play a green beast creature token. And the final ability, the -4, creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until the end of turn. So basically, it's a secondary overrun. We're running the original Rivian Reed from Magic 19. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. You can reveal a creature card or a land card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You can -3 Viv to destroy a target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Or you can -8 to get an emblem. With creatures you control, get +2/+2, have vigilance, trample, and indestructible. So that's pretty cool. Here's some of the fast mana and the artifacts in the deck. I'm running the Jeweled Lotus for obvious reasons. Playing my commander on the first turn is so good. We're running the Underworld Cookbook strictly because it has the ability for us to discard a card and create a food token. And then if we accidentally if we discard a creature, we can return it from the graveyard by sacrificing the Underworld Cookbook. But realistically, I'm just using it as a token generator. I want to create food tokens as much as possible, so I can create squirrel tokens as much as possible. We have the Skull Clamp in here because it's a token deck, and card draw in a token deck is grand. We're running Chitter Splitter. It's a 3-cost artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you sacrifice a token, you can put a acorn counter on the Chitter Splitter. Squirrels you control get 1/1 for each acorn counter on it. You can pay 1 green to tap it to create a green squirrel creature token. So it's a token generator. It's also going to be like an Anthem effect, which will pump them up. And it's pretty sweet. We're running the Strionic Resonator. Pay 2 and tap it to copy a triggered ability you control. So I don't know if I need to explain that. That's, yeah, you like doing that thing? Do it twice. Equipped creature has hexproof and haste. Obviously some protection for important things in the deck. We're playing the Golgari Signet. 1 to add a green-black to the mana pool. We're running Bolas's Citadel because we are dead inside. Let's be honest. We're just, this is just, I mean, why? It's just so bad. Legendary artifact. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. And you can play the top card of your library. If you cast a spell that way, you pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than paying its mana cost. Sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. I mean, I don't even know what else to say about it. It's definitely not going to win any games. Definitely not. It's not a threat. It's not a threat. It's not a threat. I'm running a lot of basic forests and swamps in the deck. And then we have an Ancient Tomb, which I actually pulled out of a pack of Kamigawa Neon Dynasties. I didn't pay for it. $80 for it. So that was kind of nice. We have the Restless Tomb, Grim Backwoods, Golgari Rot Farm, running a Gingerbread Cabin, Witch's Cottage, Mirrodin's Core, and the Elder Hall. That is essentially the deck. And like I said, we are going to generate a lot of tokens. At least that is the hope. That is the dream. And so here are some of the tokens. I have the Unhinged or Unglued Squirrel. I have a Card Kingdom Squirrel because I thought that was kind of cool. And we have another Wizards of the Coast Squirrel, followed up by some more Card Kingdom Squirrels. We've got our treasure tokens. We've got insects. We've got food tokens. We have clue tokens. We got elementals. We got beasts. We have oozes. We have lots of saplings because we're going to make lots of saplings. We have insects. We have elephants. We've got Eldrazi Scions and spawns. We have wolves. We have a snake from Card Kingdoms. And I even have an On an Adventure card, just in case it's needed. I try to have everything we need when I'm playing the deck as a sort of sideboard to the deck. So that's basically the deck. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Is it too mean? I don't know. I haven't had the opportunity to turn cardboard sideways with it yet and play with my friends to see what they think of it. I think that squirrels are going to get out of hand, and I think that we are going to be a table target. We are going to be the problem for everybody. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed the video. Lots more content on the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button. Tell your friends about it. Watch another video on the list. It really helps out a lot. And share it with your friends. Until next time, take care out there.